Hey guys, welcome back. Andrew here with Ambient Endeavors, and today we're taking a look at the Evil Eye Effects Warg. It's an aggressive high-gain fuzz patterned after an obscure vintage 70s fuzz. And if you are into or curious about that type of thing, this niche fuzz circuit from the 70s built by a couple dudes out on the East Coast, chances are you've come to the right place. And I'm glad you're here. This channel is all about diving into gear, exploring new and interesting and exciting pieces of gear that help to inspire and kind of catalyze creativity, writing, playing, and all that. So I really appreciate your support. Please hit subscribe below and engage in the comments if you've got questions or thoughts about the gear or the topics that we're covering here. It's a huge help to the channel, and it really helps to sort of support the things that I'm doing here. Also want to say a big thank you to the folks over at Evil Eye Effects for sending this over for demo and for supporting the channel in that way. It's been a really fun pedal to check out. We're going to get into it here in a second. But so going off of that too, I really have pretty limited care about what gear you guys decide to buy or play. For me, it's always a choice of what is inspiring me, what is helping me do the things I want to do or reach the goals I have, and what is just functional and practical in my rig and my setup or for the gig that I'm considering. And so I hope that these videos that I make are informative and inspiring. I hope that if you sat through the intro track, it maybe caused you to want to pick up your own guitar or sit down and write your own music. That's sort of the goal here for me. And the byproduct is that I get to work with a bunch of brands and companies to help get the word out about their gear, and sort of, I think in all of this, help everyone feel more motivated and inspired to create, to play music, and to pass along that joy that comes from music. So that's the thrust behind this, and we're going to sort of couch it in a video about this interesting new fuzz pedal, which for me, and playing it in the last week or so here, it's been a pedal that's sort of taken me out of my typical writing styles. It's challenged me in a fun way. It sort of brought out this kind of fun, summery, like post-punk type of a sound and feel, just because of the tones that are packed in this pedal. And so I kind of went down that rabbit hole, and it was a fun experiment and a fun track to write for the intro there. And this pedal is just sort of one of those pedals that has a power and has a texture and has sort of a voice that is like fun to play. I had to switch up my camera angles and styling for the intro track there, because I just didn't feel like it would do this pedal justice to be sitting on a chair and strumming away on my guitar. So it's cool to encounter pedals like that, even ones like fuzzes, which are a little bit outside of my wheelhouse, that really kind of transform the way you approach the guitar, the way you approach writing. And so that's been a fun thing to experience with the Warg here. And we're going to dive in specifically to this pedal and talk about it, talk about Evil Eye Effects a little bit, and then show you some sounds of what this pedal is capable of. So Warg is, like I mentioned, inspired by a 70s sort of obscure fuzz pedal called the Acetone Fuzz Master 3. It was actually developed by one of the predecessors to the Roland brand in the 70s. I believe they made some pedals and maybe a couple amps before going on to work with Roland or start that company. And so there's some cool lineage there. And again, it's this sort of niche, obscure pedal. The actual physical pedal is pretty large and kind of has a weird interface with the knobs on the back side of it, as some of those 70s fuzzes did. And so Evil Eye set to work on kind of reimagining the pedal and modernizing it for the modern player. And I think they did a really cool job, and it's fun to play a pedal that is based on a circuit that I had never heard of before. That's pretty new to me. And so kind of discovering this original circuit and then being able to play this modernized take on it here in the Warg. The circuit is really pretty Muff-like, based on some of those Big Muff circuits, again, from that same era, with some refinements too, though, and a really straightforward control set, as you see in a lot of fuzzes, with some nice additions and modifications here. So the controls across the top here are volume on the left, a pretty wide-ranging tone control in the center here, and then the gain knob. And then the magic of this pedal really comes in when you select the mode here on the toggle. You have either a traditional scooped mid mode or a flat response in the up position, which really kind of opens up this fuzz, fills it out, adds some nice warmth and fullness and richness to the fuzz, whereas a lot of muffs style fuzzes can sort of sound either ice picky or kind of just scooped in a way that isn't awesome for every context or use case. So that flat mids mode really helps to create versatility in this pedal, gives you another sort of variety of sounds and settings that are more full and present there. If you're a fuzz fan or an aficionado of fuzz, this is going to be silly and elementary to you, but this is not the type of fuzz that I would look for if you are sort of a volume knob player, if you want something that cleans up into like a preamp or overdrive type sound. It's really kind of a aggressive, high gain, balls to the wall kind of fuzz, even from low gain settings. And so just know that going into it. You'll obviously hear that in the sound samples, but it's just another sort of category and context that I think it really excels in, and it does an awesome job at those really searing, ripping, like really sustained and singing fuzz tones. But it's not a mild fuzz. It is a serious, aggressive, savage fuzz. There's nice quality of life stuff like the soft touch switching here. You have top mounted jacks, standard 9-volt power on the top here, and a nice rugged enclosure. There's some cool artwork. The brand Evil Eye Effects is kind of inspired by some of the fantasy world and role-playing game arenas, and so that kind of comes through in this artwork. And there's some cool industry connections as well. I believe they've done some work with Spruce Effects in the development and design of some of their pedals, and also Pinebox Custom did the artwork on this pedal. So it's always fun to hear and see the collaborative nature of this industry, and kind of see folks that are coming up being able to connect with and work alongside of some folks that have blazed the trail in the boutique pedal world. So I'm going to be done talking. We're going to hear this fuzz. We're going to just sort of experience and feel and hear the tones of the Warg. I'm going to be using my Fender Player 2 Jazz Master for the sound samples here, the black one you saw in the intro sketch. We're going to be running into the Warg and then just adding a touch of reverb from a Strymon Flint before going to the Supro Keeley Custom 12 as our amp. And there's just so much you can do with this pedal in terms of those fuzz tones. There's a ton of sustain. I really found it was something I could almost have shot the demo with this single pedal, which is pretty rare for me. I'm always wanting a delay or a reverb or something. But really cool pedal. I'm rambling about it now, so we're going to cut over the sound samples and you can hear it.